I agree with Larry David. I have a clip pulled up actually from Curb of like an instance of whatever he did. We have to decide. But also, is your friend being 30 minutes late? Your friend being 30 minutes late to a podcast that they said they would be on time for is definitely something that Larry David would say something about.
Yeah. It is inconsiderate. I apologize for not valuing your time as much as I valued my dog's time.
And you know what Larry David, I think, would say? He would actually say that was a very sincere apology and that he appreciates you acknowledging your disrespect to society.
I wronged him.
Yeah. So, yeah, I got a clip we can analyze here. I want to hear our thoughts on this, you know?
Larry David.
Huh?
That's great.
Never had a wing before.
I know.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It's your night to shine.
Yeah. Yeah, great.
So he's now...
What is that?
People listening audio. Larry David's in like a fundraiser, and he looked at where he's donated a bunch of money to this cause, so they have donated a wing of the building to him. And then he looks over to this other wall, and somebody else has donated money, but it says anonymous.
Donated by anonymous.
Yeah.
Anonymous?
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about that. Now it looks like I did mine for the credit. It's probably to, Mr. Wonderful Anonymous.
I know who it is. It's Ted. Ted is...
What, are you kidding?
No. Isn't that great? I donated the whole wing. Didn't want anybody to know.
All right.
What
are you guys' initial reaction to that is? Before we hear Larry complain about it, somebody anonymously donating, but still telling their friends about, oh, I'm anonymous. Do you think that says something about their character?
It could. I mean, but
I think it would depend on the context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Can you think of any specific anecdotal evidence or I don't know examples?
An actual example. It's tough to think of, but if you were, also this is if you were wealthy, which I am not. I do not have the money to donate wings of hospitals.
Right.
But I guess if I donated something and then somebody was talking to me about taxes or something, I might bring up, oh, I've donated something before, and blah blah blah. You can write it off, or what if you are talking about the business of it.
Do you need to tell your friends about that, or can't you just tell that to the IRS and stuff? You know.
I'm saying if I'm giving advice or something, or if I can help somebody navigate. Oh, you donated something? Hey, I actually also dealt with that on taxes. I'm donating blood plasma, for instance. If somebody's like, oh, yeah, I don't know how to deal with that on taxes. Like, oh, yeah, I did donate blood plasma for a while. Let me tell you about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right.
I will say.
Continue. I'm also, just for the record, I'm going to stop this occasionally just to
Sure.
We're not playing a clip straight through, and I don't get fucking the video taken off YouTube.
Right.
As long as we're reacting and commenting on it.
I also will say, I
definitely
think there's only 5% of cases where it is appropriate. Most of the time, if you donate something anonymously, you should shut the fuck up about it.
Yes.
Well, let's see how this plays out. Yeah. So Larry's just found out
they wanted it to be anonymous.
Yeah, Larry's wife has just told him that Ted Danson is anonymous.
Oh, isn't that great? I donated the whole wing. Didn't want anybody to know.
Well, he told you, so he apparently wanted somebody to know.
He told me, okay?
Who else did he tell? How do you know he just told you?
No. The point is that he didn't need all the fanfare and didn't need...
Fanfare? What fanfare? I don't like the fanfare. Are you saying I like fanfare?
You can tell a few people. He just doesn't need the whole world to know that he donated all this money.
You know what? I didn't need the world to know either. Nobody told me that I could be anonymous and tell people. I would have taken that option, okay? You can't have it halfway. You're either anonymous or you're not. What is it?
Look, people are pointing out and go, there's Larry David.
Oh, yeah, there's Larry David, the guy who has to have his name up on the wall, as opposed to Mr. Anonymous. Fuck was really Ted.
I'm proud of you.
Anonymous. It's fake philanthropy, and it's faux anonymity. What do you think about that?
I mean, do you agree with him that he says it's an either or? You're either anonymous or you're not. I guess you were saying you do not necessarily agree with that, right? Or you could see situations where
I
it's
can
not either or.
conceive. I think intention is what matters. That being said, generally speaking, if you bring up that you are an anonymous donator, I would say your intention is bad. I would say you are a bad actor.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard.
90+% of the time.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to say, especially, when you're donating to a good cause. It's hard to say like, oh, you're ill intent. There's ill intent behind this. But if you're doing it anonymously and then telling people you did it anonymously, it's like you're basically like, hey, everyone. It's like a really weird way to try to get attention from people. It seems like.
Yes.
That to me. Yeah.
That being said, I was actually talking with some friends kind of corollarily about this. We were talking about the Ukraine war, and somebody was like, I don't know if I really am stoked about people like saying they support Ukraine or whatever, and then not actually doing anything to support. Like all they're doing is saying it. And I kind of countered with, I think in some cases just highlighting the issue and keeping it present in people's minds is actually important. Like, it's a ground war over there, and it's a war of attrition at this point in a lot of ways. And, like, having American funding and the American public support does matter a lot for them. And so literally just, like, talking about it on this podcast is, like, in some small way helpful to support that effort, I would suggest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's an interesting point. And I'm thinking about this scenario that we're watching here. And thinking, would it actually be better for that cause overall if Ted Danson puts his name there instead of anonymous? Because not only
certainly
does he get that recognition, which whatever, you donated the money, but then there's probably press stories and more people hear about it because his name is attached to it. But if it's anonymous, then you don't get that celebrity factor of marketing added into it to the cause.
People attached to his brand also will be drawn to it. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
A fan
if he's
of Ted
anonymous,
Danson,
then he doesn't... Nobody knows, yeah. Except for the people that he tells, apparently.
Right. Which almost certainly is just to boost his ego at that point. If it is between you and one other person, I mean, you really are only doing it to boost your ego. You're not supporting the cause in any way. I guess you could be like saying like, hey, you should also donate a wing.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this next part, he's going to actually talk to Ted about the situation. And maybe the lady who owns the or charity or whatever.
I want to go talk to Senator Boxer.
Senator.
Right. Look at this. Oh. Anonymous. You really, I know, I didn't say, Larry, did you know this anonymous is Ted?
Yeah.
Just kidding. The point I want to make is you didn't need to do this.
Well, that's true.
He did.
That's why I kept this. That's why I kept
That's true. He didn't.
He didn't.
Well, because I think it's the exhibit. It's the issue.
And you're so passionate about this. You know, too many people don't do things out of the goodness of it. They want the credit. You are number one in my book, Ted Danson. Senator, please don't forget. Oh, I've got to run. Bye, Larry. Bye, Ted.
That's so sweet.
See you later.
Wow. I didn't expect that.
What is this bullshit? Anonymous. Give me a break. Anonymous. If you're anonymous, how come people know?
This is why Larry David's great. He has any kind of issue with anything, he's immediately going to say something about it to that person.
Escalates it to 11.
Immediately, he will say something. He has no shame about it.
They told me one or two people, friends, that I didn't think I wanted to have a secret.
Oh, really?
Actually, can you play it back about 10 or 15 seconds?
Yeah.
I want to point something out. And I know this is just the way they have to make the show flow.
I'll start it right after the senator left.
Yes,
and
perfect.
They're talking with each other, yeah.
didn't expect that.
What is this bullshit? Anonymous. Give me a break, Anonymous. If you're anonymous, how come people know about it?
They told maybe one or two people, friends, that I didn't think I wanted to have a secret.
Oh, really? I have a feeling everybody in this room knows.
Can I have your attention, everybody? We're going to start the ceremony, and Senator Barbara Boxer would like to say a few words.
Thank you so much. This is a night to thank two very special people. So one is Larry David. Larry David. We are very thrilled with his contribution. And the other is Anonymous.
I love the
clearly, as
clapping.
you could hear there, yeah, the anonymous quote, air quotes here, got a bigger round of applause from the crowd at the event. Yeah, I mean, as he often does, Larry has a point, you know.
Yeah, how much do you guys agree with him?
I agree with him. I think where he's coming, this is where I think he's coming from. Larry just wants to live in a society. The society Larry wants to live in has a very specific set of, like, you know, this is the way society expects things to be. This is the way we're going to do them. Like this, you know, whatever. And I think that something like that, somebody saying I'm anonymous, but like not really being anonymous, he doesn't want to associate with people like that. And that's why he calls those things out. So I would agree. I think it would be, I would definitely like, I don't know if I question my friendship. It would, you know, there'd be a lot of other factors, but like, I would definitely like look at that example of like if somebody was donating anonymously and then bragging to me that they had done that, like,
yeah,
that would be kind of weird to me. Like I was saying, it's a weird way to try to get attention from people.
Agreed.
Here's a question for you. Can you do anything for another person genuinely out of goodness, or are you in some way trying to make yourself feel better about being a good person? Can people do good things selflessly?
I would say those things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah, being a good person should make you feel good.
Yeah. Well, I would say...
I mean, is it truly selfless, though? If you're making yourself feel good,
well, here's the
selfless?
thing. Like, if you make yourself feel good because you know you're a good person, that's one thing. If you're making yourself feel good by seeking the adulation of others because of what you did, then that's not quite the same thing.
I mean, what is different, though?
If I do something for you, but I don't tell the world I did it for you.
Practically different? Yeah, what if Ted Danson never did say that he was anonymous? Like, is he selfless then? Or is he's still...
He's not seeking... Yeah, he's not seeking...
yeah, definitely, yeah.
He's totally selfless then?
Because he's not seeking any recognition. He's truly anonymous.
Yes, but I guess in one way...
He's not doing it to feel good about it?
Right. I guess in one... Like, any good act, you can argue, like, at the very base, like, level, you probably are like, I want to make the world a better place, or my town a better place, or whatever. So like that might be the root feeling behind it, which isn't. I guess, are you arguing is that a selfless thing? Like if that's
what I'm
behind
saying.
it,
I guess
like,
the question is, does that negate the selflessness? If everything can be tied back to like an innate desire, like I want to change things, I want to do this so it's better, like isn't that making kind of a judgment call that is inherently not selfless?
Yeah, I definitely see logically that how that argument makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm not like looking down this hill.
Oh, I think this is awesome that our first "Do you agree with Larry David" segment has dived so complex, turned into such a complex conversation.
Such an ethical quandary.
I really think, I think that the ridiculous things that he complains about can make you think about these complex, like, ways of our world and, like, what's right, what's wrong, shit like that.
Well, and here's another thing. Say you are honest about something. Like, say like you're out with a friend or something and a homeless person asks for like a couple bucks and you give it to them, because you want to be seen as a good person to your friend. And then as you're walking away, your friend is like, wow, that was so kind of you. And you say, nah, honestly, it wasn't really. I was just trying to like curry your favor. I just gave that homeless person that money to make you think well of me.
Dang, I might respect the hell out of that if somebody actually said that. But at the same time, I might also be like, maybe they recognize that and they're actually saying that to make themselves look better in a weird, like, multi-leveled way around this whole situation.
I will say we can spin it on infinitely, but let's just say that is genuine. Let's say they do say, like, you, for whatever reason, you just know it is genuine. Does that telling the truth then about, like, no, it wasn't selfless? Does that then make it a selfless action? Like, yeah, okay, I did abuse that. So I think about this a lot with YouTube videos where they, like, somebody gives somebody $1,000 when they offer to give them free food because they're broke or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that can't be ethically good. That's not ethically good, right? That's very bad in the long run for people, isn't it? Even though it is giving somebody $1,000 like for their struggling business, that's not the right way to do it, right?
That's an interesting look. At that point, you're kind of talking about the whole like charity porn segment of the internet that, like, you know, makes content like, look how good of a person I am. I'm giving all this money away or these things away to people or doing these nice things. And like, I always think it's weird when people attack stuff like that because, like, you know, then basically the attacks I often see, it's like they're attacking society as a whole and the way the whole system works as to why this person doing this was, you know, maybe not the best thing. And I'm like, dude, this is one person. They're not going to change the whole fucking society, like all of how society runs. Right. Them doing this charitable act, giving away money and filming it, like, yeah, okay, maybe you could see that as a little weird, but in the end, I'm for it. Like, with all the negative stuff on the online, like, who cares?
Here's what I would pitch. Of all the, I would say it is ethically wrong. I would say the motivations behind it are wrong. But of all the wrong things you could do with, like, genociding entire populations being real low on the list of things, and, like, maybe
that's
taking
low
a
on
piece
the
of...
list of... Did you just say genocide is low on the list of wrong things?
Low being,
I think he means
like,
high.
low ranked.
Okay.
If it's a list of good things, high is good. High is good. Yeah. Sorry.
I was concerned there for a second, too.
That was very weird.
Yes. Genocide's super chill, guys. Don't you think?
I'm gonna clip that later for my blackmail folder.
Yeah, exactly. I'm giving you a good one. This is gonna make a great clip show someday.
Dude, we should we should do a blackmail folder against each other sometime from previous episodes, and then we'll come to an episode together, and we'll fucking be like, "Can you believe that you said this?" And fucking like play clips to each other of shit that we said.
Make like soundboards, clip horrible things.
Eventually, our podcast will turn into us reacting to ourselves. It's an infinite cycle.
Dude, I'm down to do that. That would be a cool segment. I think we'd do well with it.
But back to what you were saying. It's interesting to me that you say that it's inherently wrong for somebody to, like, do a charitable act and film it. That's what you were saying, right? Well, because that's inherently wrong.
I would say their motivation is wrong. Because this is also objectively, it is better. It is measurably improving the world.
I could definitely agree that certain individuals, their motivation is, like, not the best intent. But, like, I could definitely see situations where somebody is... There are certain people, I bet, that, like, are not necessarily thinking or intentionally doing it. Like, it might just be a side effect that they get all this fame and, like, attention. And, like, a common argument they make is, like, the more money I get, the more good I can do. So
yeah,
it's
the righteous gemstones. The righteous gemstones.
Yeah, there's definitely an argument to that at a certain point of wealth, like, you doing a little bit of percentage of your good sounds like like a big deal, but really is it as big a deal as it sounds?
Dude, okay, to honestly step it out, take it to the full max, let's make the argument that maybe somebody having a large amount of money can actually do good. Say they do create a business. Like say, okay, I have $10 million. I could just distribute it to people. And so what would that be? 1,000 families get $100,000 or something? No. 1,000 get 10,000, right?
That would be 10. If you
Yeah.
You said 1 million? 10 families.
10 million. 10 million. 10
Then it would be 100, yeah.
Yeah. 100 families. So let's say 10,000 to 1,000 families. Okay? Now, say I take that 10 million and found a company or am able to grow that company into a company that can provide 5,000 families with jobs, way better than $10,000. And like, say it's a good business. Like some people would say like fucking working for Google is awesome. Like, hey, we love it. They fund our whole lifestyle.
I hear you. But do you realize that this is their business? They're doing that, but their business is just giving shit away. That is the business. That is what brings in money, and then they do more of that. That is the business. Like they don't, and they do employ people that way, and they do have, you know what I'm saying? Like,
but their business funds.
I think they are doing what you're saying, kind of.
But their business funds the person they're giving the money to and themselves. A billionaire's,
and all the people that work
a
for them,
10 millionaire's
it's not
business.
Just them. Like they have teams of people that work for them. Like they, like I said, it's a business. They have you know, video people, editing people, fucking all kinds of shit.
We could say it's comparable to Mr. Beast, though. Would you say Mr. Beast's like production team, the team that he employs, is that the same as like 500-person business or whatever? You know.
Maybe. He's pretty fucking big at this point. I have no idea how many people he employs. He might actually employ that many people. Like,
oh, okay.
I don't know.
I guess is there a crossover factor though that it like?
I see what you're saying. Like,
yeah.
I see your argument. I think I'm just saying like they are doing a business. It's just not necessarily like a typical business you would think of in a community. Like it's new. It's a fucking new part of society.
Their business is exploiting the downtrodden.
Anyways, this went way past the original clip, which is typically what happens with Larry David. Things go way fucking past what was meant. So
we get to discuss deep philosophical questions.
How do you think that first segment of I guess we have to answer the question. Do you agree with Larry David?
No.
You're going to say no? You're going to lean no?
Yeah.
I'm going to say yes. I agree with him.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes.
I think there are edge cases. I want to, my heart wants to, but I can't.
So you're looking at more of like I need to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt because there is doubt there, you can't say yes. That's
right,
what I'm
I'm going to err on the side of caution when it comes to agreeing with Larry. I think Larry sets some
it'll be good for
traps.
The bit because he clearly knows what people a lot of these are probably going to be things we all fucking agree with.
Yeah, that's the whole point of the show. That's the show.
But he does sometimes do some shit you're like, I don't know about that one, dude. Like, but anyways, nice. I thought that segment
pretty good.